The Night of Milky Way Train. Kenji Miyazawa. 7. The Northern Cross and the Pliocene Coast. Will my mother forgive me? Suddenly Campanella said, as if he had taken the plunge. He had a slight stammer. Giovanni stayed silent. Ah, yes, he was thinking. My mother is around that orange triangular signpost that looks like a distant dust, and now she is thinking about me. Campanella said, I'd do anything for my mother if it would make my mother happy. But what makes her really happy? He looked as if he was trying not to cry. Nothing bad has happened to your mom, has it? Giovanni cried out in surprise. I don't know, replied Campanella. Anyway, whoever it is, if you do really good things, they'll be really happy. So I think my mom will forgive me. He looked as if he had decided to do something. Suddenly, the inside of the car was filled with bright white light. The riverbed of the Milky Way was gleaming like diamonds or drops of dew on the grass. The water ran on, silent and with no shape. In the middle of the stream, they saw an island. There was a pale light around it. On the flat top of the island, there was a great shining white cross. It had a clear gold halo around it. It stood quietly as if it was made from frozen Arctic clouds. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Voices arose all around Giovanni and Campanella. They looked round. There were travelers in the car. All of them had their hands together. They were praying facing the cross. Their clothes were neat and they were all holding a black book to their chests. They were wearing crystal beads around their necks too. Without thinking, the two boys stood up straight. Campanella's cheeks looked beautiful and shining like ripe apples. Then the island and the cross gradually moved to the back. The other side of the river shone with a pale light. The pampas grass was blowing in the wind and gentians kept appearing and disappearing in the grass. They looked like gentle fire. For a short while, the view was blocked by thick pampas grass. Swan Island could just be seen a couple of times. But it soon became something small and far away. It now looked like a painting. Then the pampas grass rustled close to the train again and the island disappeared from sight. Giovanni suddenly noticed a tall woman behind him. She was dressed in black and looked like a Catholic nun. He hadn't noticed her come into the car. She had green eyes and stared down at the floor. She still seemed to be listening to some words or voices coming from the island. The other travelers went quietly back to their seats. Giovanni and Campanella both felt somehow different from usual. There was a new feeling like sadness filling their hearts. They talked together softly. We'll soon be arriving at Swan Station, won't we? Yes, at 11 o'clock. A green signal light and a white pole passed by the outside of the window. Then the lights in front of the points passed below the window. The train was getting slower. Soon, a beautiful row of lights on the platform appeared. They seemed to get bigger and bigger as the train slowed down. Their car stopped right in front of the big clock at Swan Station. The face of the clock looked very bright in the fresh autumn air. Its two blue steel hands pointed at 11 o'clock. Everyone got off at once. Now the car was empty. A notice below the clock said 20-minute stop. "Shall we get off as well?" asked Giovanni. "Why not?" The two boys jumped up together and jumped out of the door. They ran to the ticket gate. There was a bright purple light. There was no sign of anybody, not even the station master. The two went out to a small square in front of the station. It was surrounded by trees that looked like cut glass. There was a wide white road. It headed straight into the blue light of the Milky Way. All the other travelers had disappeared. Giovanni and Campanella started walking along the white road shoulder to shoulder. Their shadows spread in all directions like the spokes of two wheels. They soon came to the beautiful riverbank that they had seen from the train. Campanella picked up some of the beautiful sand. He dropped it in his palm. He spread the sand with his fingers and talked as if he were dreaming. "Look, this sand is all crystals. A little flame is burning inside each one." "That's right," Giovanni replied. But he was wondering where he had learned that. The stones on the riverbed were all transparent. Some were rock crystal. Some were topaz. Some had cracks in them. Some were corundum with a pale, misty light coming from their edges. Giovanni ran across the beach and put his hands in the water. The mysterious water of the Milky Way was more transparent than glass, but you could tell that it was running. The boys' hands in the water seemed to be floating up a little, and they were the color of mercury. And the ripples against them looked as if they were burning with a beautiful phosphorescence. The boys looked upstream. They could see a cliff covered with pampas grass. Below it there was a flat, white rock just like a playground. They could also see the silhouettes of 5 or 6 people bending down and then standing up again as if they were digging. Some tools shone in the light every now and then. "Let's go!" The boys shouted at the same time and ran towards the rock. At the edge there was a signpost made of china. It said Pliocene Beach. There were iron railings here and there and some lovely wooden benches. Campanella stopped and picked up something black. "Look here. What's this strange thing?" It looked like a long, pointed nut. "It's a walnut," replied Giovanni. "Oh, there are lots of them. I don't think the river washed them here. They must be from inside the rock. They're very big, aren't they? Double the size of usual walnuts. I'm sure they're digging something up over there. Let's go and see." Still holding the walnuts, the boys went towards the people. On their left, the waves seemed to be on fire. On their right, the silver heads of the pampas grass rustled all over the cliff. They could see a tall man who looked like a professor. He was wearing big boots and glasses with very thick lenses. There were 3 assistants. They were busily writing something in a notebook, using pickaxes and spades. The professor was giving orders to 3 assistants. "Be careful," he shouted. "Use a spade." "A spade. Oh no, dig a little further." "No, no. Why are you so rough?" Giovanni and Campanella looked closely. They could see the bones of a very big animal in the soft white rock. It looked as if it had fallen and broken into pieces. Then they saw about 10 square, carefully cut pieces of rock. Each rock had a number on it and 2 hoof prints. The professor turned towards the boys and his glasses gleamed. "Have you come to watch us?" he asked. "Ah, you found some walnuts. Well, they're from about 1.2 million years ago. They're quite new ones, in fact. This was beside the sea, you see, after the Tertiary period. That was 1.2 million years ago. You can find seashells under here. Where the river is now used to be salt water. This animal you can see here is a boss. Hey, you! Don't use a pickaxe there. Carefully do it with chisel." Where was I? Ah, yes, it's a boss. It's the ancestor of today's cows. There were many of them around in the past. What are you going to do with it? Ah, well, we need these bones to prove something. You see, we believe this rock here is 1.2 million years old. But the thing is whether other people will look at it the way we do. They may think this is just wind and water and empty sky. Do you get the idea? You see, but... Hey you! Don't use a spade there, either. The ribs of the boss are probably right under there. The professor ran off towards his assistants. "It's time, let's go," said Campanella, looking at his map and his watch. Giovanni bowed to the professor. "I'm sorry, but we must be going now." "Oh, really? Well, goodbye then." The professor started, walking around again giving orders to his assistants. The 2 boys didn't want to miss the train. They ran like the wind across the white rock. And in fact they found they really could run like the wind. They didn't get tired at all, and their feet didn't get hot. Giovanni thought, if I could run like this, I could run all over the world. The light at the station grew bigger. In no time at all, they were back sitting in their seats on the train. They looked out of the window in the direction of the river.